Politico is reporting that there is some serious drama in the White House among Donald Trump's health policy aides. That means that it's time for As the White House Turns.
Made some very big mistakes. I asked for his resignation.
I'm disappointed in the Attorney General.
All right, so what's going on within Trump's administration? Apparently there is some sort of fight happening between two officials, Secretary of Health and Human Services, Alex Azar, and Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services Administrator, Seema Verma. Now they're feuding to the point where Donald Trump actually had to get involved and tell them to knock it off. So according to anonymous sources who spoke to Politico, the scale of bickering has appalled and horrified people internally.
Okay. This is a White House official in this White House.
Yes.
They're appalled.
They're appalled, which is saying something, right? I mean, there's appalling activity happening within the White House every single day. But apparently the feuding between these two health officials is so significant that even they're concerned about it. So as I mentioned, Trump has gotten involved and he thinks it's going too far. And according to Politico, already Trump told Azar and Verma to knock it off and get along, to no avail, said two senior administration officials. In fact, one White House source was quoted as saying, "What an effing soap opera. This does not help either of them." So there are rumors that they're both likely to be let go if they don't work things out immediately. But what are they fighting about? What's the big issue? First, let me preface this by saying that they're both terrible people, okay? And I'm gonna show you why in just a minute. But the two have clashed over matters small and large, according to Politico, including policy issues such as the president's desire to lower drug prices, seen as a key talking point for his re-election campaign. Azar has come under fire for cutting Verma out of the department's decision-making and attempting to block her access to the president and a high-profile event related to a Medicare executive order. The health secretary blocked Verma from traveling with Trump on Air Force One in October for the unveiling of a Medicare executive order in Florida, according to a half dozen officials with knowledge of the multi-day episode. Verma was only allowed aboard the plane after the White House intervened. Now, Azar is known for his fierce temper, dubbed by a senior administration official as the Purple Rage because of his face color when he becomes angry.
He's the guy with such a fierce temper, they call it the Purple Rage. Like a barbarian, like a Viking warrior. The rage just overcomes him and he fights for what he believes. You little weenie. Stop. What? I read everything I could about this feud, and I still couldn't tell you what they actually disagree on.
To be honest with you, the way that I've read this, and you're right, I mean, they don't talk about a policy disagreement because they both.
It's something about lowering drug prices.
Right.
Does he want to do it more, faster, broader, different? I have no idea, and I doubt they do either.
It's politics, and I have a feeling this is more about a power struggle within the administration. Even though they have two different jobs, it seems like a power struggle. I mean, look, why is Azar blocking her from access to Donald Trump? It's a power struggle, that's what this is. I mean, the same thing that you could expect at any other highly politicized work environment, it's happening within the White House.
Yes, but I think even more so in this one. What we have is like one of the characteristics of like a tin pot dictatorship. It's like personal access to the president, and in particular one who is so simple-minded and has such a short attention span that we've known for a long time, whoever the last person he talked to, he tends to go with and believe, then of course you want to block her from having access to him. She'll say something about drug prices, he'll have no idea what she's going with, but she'll say it forcefully and he'll think she's smart, so he wants to stop that from happening. If the president had a coherent ideology and an actual map to how he wants to get to his preferred policies, then he would hire experts and they would go off and they would do their work. But he's a flighty, frenetic little child. And so whoever comes into his office, that's who he's gonna go with. And so that's what he does. It's ridiculous.
You're so right. And look, I have a video of Verma to just kind of give you, to buttress your point, right? That she's not an expert, she has no idea what she's talking about. And while Azar is the so-called purple rage and he seems like a bad dude who hangs out with a lot of bad guys, the reality is Verma is no better. In this next video, she starts fear-mongering about Medicare for all.
I'm always very concerned that we're hearing conversations about more government, more Medicare for all. I think those kinds of things are very scary to me because we see the day-to-day problems with the government-run system. You know, we have a very talented team at CMS and we can see sometimes what needs to get done, but we can't do that because some of the antiquated laws and special interest groups, you know, don't want to make those changes. I think we just talked about drug pricing and the Part B program is a great example of that. The government says we're going to pay the average sales price. So a lot of the problems that we have in healthcare are rooted in government policy.
What? I mean, none of that made sense. The only thing that did make sense, she had like a moment of clarity where she mentioned the involvement of special interest groups. And those special interest groups are private healthcare insurers, pharmaceutical companies that are looking out for their bottom line and they have no interest in a policy like Medicare for all. Like, I like how she's like, you know, we here at the government really want to lower drug prices, but you know, Medicare for all gives too much power to the government. We wouldn't be able to lower what?
Yeah. It was better word salad than Trump. It showed a better understanding of the content and the English language than Trump can. But when she's saying, when we hear that they want more Medicare for all, what do you mean more Medicare for all? It's a policy, it's not something you fill a basket with. What are you talking about? And then she says, well, you know, I just worry about government involvement. Government's pretty incompetent. You're the government, you're in charge of it. You're saying that you're incompetent. And the special interest, she said, won't make those changes. They're not in charge.
Yeah,
you're in charge.
Yeah, the special interests that are standing in your way are the very people who would be negatively impacted financially by a Medicare for all system that would do away with the middlemen and the administrative costs that are associated with private insurers that we're dealing with today. But look, I don't want to get too lost in a Medicare for all discussion. We're actually going to talk about that a little more later in the show. But I do want to give you more of who she is because Verma, while she has a huge issue with government involvement, really loves taxpayers basically covering her ridiculous costs, right? Yeah. So this was a story that broke earlier this week, but we didn't get to it. So Verma's not so innocent. She tried to have taxpayers reimburse her for $47,000 worth of property stolen during a work trip. Verma also has come under fire for spending millions of dollars on contracts for Republican communications consultants whose jobs entailed boosting her public profile.
Do we know? I think I know the answer to this, but that's taxpayer dollars?
Yes.
For the consultants?
Yes, she wants taxpayers to pay for consultants who help her out with her career.
Well, I think you want to have a PR person, a stylist. Wait, what? Why are they having communications reps for themselves? For the agency, okay, I can understand that.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're the definition of government waste. So they will turn around and tell the American people, we're not gonna do anything for you when it comes to lowering drug prices. We're not gonna help you out when it comes to healthcare in America. We're not gonna even attempt to fix a broken system. We don't want government to get involved, right? We wanna make sure that we don't spend too much money. But then they'll turn around and expect taxpayers to foot the bill for their little PR stunts.
Yeah, it's for her. It's PR stunts and jewelry that she might or might not have had stolen. That might or might not have actually cost $47,000. For price, it was the tactical cargo pants that he wanted to spend a bunch of money on, and he wanted taxpayers to pay for him to be shuttled around so he could buy hand lotion. All of these sound ridiculous, but they really live it up when they're in charge. These people who are worried about government waste.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.